Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, you guys. My name is Denise Walsh. Welcome back to Coaching for Coaches, where we are going to talk to a newly certified Dream Life Coach who is excited to open the doors to her business to work with teens. So today we're going to do a few things. We're going to talk through how and why this brewed up for her. And my guess is if you've been brewing the idea of becoming a coach, it's probably brewed for you for years as well, right? We get this stirring in our heart for far too long, often before we finally say yes to it. I know at least that was the case for me. And so we're going to hear a bit more about her story and how and where this brewing came from. And I'm going to ask you, do you have a stirring on your heart? Do you have this little restlessness that's going, oh my gosh, I want to add value to the world in a new way too? And then we're going to talk through teens, because teens are a whole niche in themselves, right? I'd love to hear from a few of you. Do you have teens at home? I have a 14-year-old boy who is just now, right, starting to step into different hormones or clique groups, friend groups, drama potentially, right? And so as parents and coaches, we want to be able to equip teens to help them through these transitional periods. And so with that being said, I'd like to welcome our resident expert, Dream Life Coach, Jennifer Yates.
Hi, everyone. How you doing?
Welcome, welcome. So glad that you are here. First of all, big congratulations
Thank you.
to becoming a Dream Life Coach. This is a big stinking deal.
It is a big deal. Yes.
So I'd love to hear first about how and why, where did this brewing and this idea and this dream start for you?
Yeah, I think that for me, when I was a teenager, I certainly struggled on my own. I didn't really realize my struggle till later, but basically what I had decided was I need to go to work. And so I found a job in a corporate office. And it very much made me aware that I desired something deeper at a deeper level with individuals in terms of connection, and then just wanting to have an impact on people's lives or an impact in the world. And I was always a person that throughout my entire career, people would come and tell me their deepest secrets. I just made them feel welcomed and that they could trust me and all of those things. And so I kept thinking, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? I'm a project manager, very different than life coach in some ways. And it just kind of came to a head and a decision was made for me. And I thought, you know what? This is your opportunity. You need to listen to the universe is telling you this is your opportunity to actually utilize the skills that come naturally and to move forward. So it wasn't.
Well, I have a quick question, because it sounds like you got into the corporate world because that was kind of necessity, right? You got out of school, time to get a job, and you found there maybe even falling into whatever role was available.
Yes.
And so while that worked, it wasn't filling your soul. It wasn't the it thing for you. And so there was always this restlessness of, okay, this is fine, but it's not great. It's not it. And so navigating, all right, well, what do I want to do, is oftentimes why it can take longer than it seems. Like I know for me, it can take a few years to figure out, well, I know this isn't it, but what do I want?
Right.
And so then you started listening to the feedback you were getting.
Yeah. So I ended up kind of hitting a wall emotionally and had to do some really deep seated work, like dig out some of my demons and actually face them. And through that process, I found that I one day was prompted driving, I'm just going to write my family and ask them what they think about me to see how I am viewed by other people. Because I don't view myself very highly, or didn't at the time. And the feedback that I got blew my mind. And I thought, if this is how people see me, if they see me as a light in their life and they see me as super trustworthy and someone that they can send their daughters and sons to talk, and they always know they can rely on me, then there's an opportunity there for me to kind of dig in a little deeper. So it wasn't until I went through the 90-day U-turn program myself that I was actually able to heal some of the things that were holding me back, and the self-doubt and the thought traps and the sabotage. All of those things came up for me. And then really understanding where I came from, and then like being told, hey, you actually have the freedom to change it and decide for yourself. That was big for me. So that really took me down the level of I want to become a coach. So then I got into that.
Right. So you started listening to what other people are saying and they're like, you are somebody that I come to because you're a great listener. You are
Yeah.
empathetic. You are adding light to our life. Like you are
Mhm.
somebody that I really do connect with. And then within your own 90-day U-turn process, it was like the barriers were released.
Yes. A hundred
And
percent.
Claire, it was like, here we go. This is what I
Mhm.
want. Which how exciting and motivating is it to feel like this is it?
Honestly, it felt like I had been handed the gift of a lifetime, because I think that growing up as an empathetic kid is very challenging. And then not knowing what to do with all of that, like not knowing how to separate your feels from other feels, not knowing kind of how to in a healthy way redirect it. I was a disaster emotionally. Like I was very reactive. I had a temper. I couldn't understand, like, even though I perceived other people's feelings, I didn't realize I actually felt them. So sometimes I would feel these like highs and lows that I'm like, I don't even know what's happening to me. I just feel low, you know? And so once I kind of went through 90-day U-turn and then went back into the memories of my teenage years, I then was like, I have to make a difference. There has to be a better way. And from there I kind of got into teens and
Yeah.
kind of thinking about that market.
I often say that our why is born out of a blessing or a burden. You know,
Uh-huh.
you're at this place where you go, this is not gonna like I'm gonna swing to the other side
Yeah.
and that I want to support other people who are going through there through so they don't experience what I did, or maybe it's a blessing and you're like I want to give back in this special way.
Right.
But for you it was like, okay, if we're going to teach these skills, like these skills need to be taught to teens so
Yes.
they can not potentially derail in their
Right.
early 20s, or they can. So tell me a
Right.
little bit about why teens were
Yeah. So I
connected.
had recalled, as I kind of was looking for my niche, whatever, however you want to say it. As I was kind of looking for that, I remembered this project from 2010. I looked it up. It's called It Gets Better. And the concept was hang in there through high school. It gets better after high school. And it kind of sat on my heart like, that's kind of, it's good. It's a great program. Don't get me wrong. It's an amazing movement, and it did help a lot of teens feel like, okay, I just have to hang on. It will get better. However, I felt like, why can't it get better now? Ultimately, why can't they just have the tools right now? And why does it get better when they go to college? Does it really get better, or is it the same stuff there, just a little more spread out, and a little more people are more independent going to college and things like that? So it really became clear that there's a real need in that, I would say, seventh grade to 12th grade phase, where, yes, they're going through a lot of physical changes, but there's also a lot of school pressures. There's peer pressure. There's people making fun of them if they stand out. And so nobody wants to stand out or be different or any of that. And then when I really started mulling it over, I'm like, what's at the core of all of those things? And to me, the answer was a lack of confidence in themselves and an understanding of who they are. That if they stood proudly in their shoes, could they then go forward and be able to reflect, like, whatever you throw at me is not going to bother me, because I have the tools and solutions to align myself and bring myself back to grounded. And then will they thrive? And will it stop being more, if it trickles out, could it
Mhm.
stop being competitive and break kids down?
We had a stop suffering in silence like work speak engagement, I guess
Yep.
you'd say. And
Yep.
so my friend Rachel shares her story of how she was trafficked, and one of the pieces of her story is that when she, even as an adult, would be triggered, she emotionally would resort back to when
Mhm.
the abuse happened, which was like age 9. So
Yeah.
even though she's 28 years old, she emotionally would resort back to 9. And
Sure.
then later, somebody asked her, "So why do you feel safe now?" And like, yes, she's moved, she's not getting harassed anymore. Like, there's a lot of physical things that, like, she literally is safer where she
Hmm.
is now. But her answer surprised me. She said, because I've learned the skills to stay 28.
Mm,
And I
yep.
mean, now she's in her 30s, but
Yep.
like she's that healing journey
Hmm.
and those skills that we learn in 90-day U-turn
Hmm.
help certainly adults, but especially teens, the skills to know who they are, stand in their own strength,
Yeah.
and deal with what life comes with them.
Mm-hmm. 100%. Like even thinking through the exercises that I've learned that I recall, or let's say I'm having a bad day, because let's be honest, we don't always have great days.
Right.
Even as a life coach, even though I've dug through all my junk, I still get triggered. And so I'm able to remind myself, Jenny, you're struggling in this and it's becoming overwhelming, but you have a toolkit. Why aren't you utilizing that toolkit? And so I have to remind myself, like, no, go back, do some journaling, write it down, do this exercise, do the thought trap exercise, because probably what you think is not actually what you feel. So, how can we sort that out? And I just think that those are exercises that will live with me for the rest of my life. And
Yeah.
that's what I think it can do for teens. If we
Yeah.
start sooner, would it live with them for the rest of their lives?
Yeah. I've had 60-year-olds do the program and they're like, why am I just learning this
Yes.
now?
I feel that way at almost 43. Like, what was I doing all my life? Why didn't I do
So,
this sooner?
yeah, learning these emotion regulation skills, learning the confidence skills, learning the vision skills and the
Hmm.
goal setting and the accountability, all of those are woven within 90-day U-turn.
Yeah.
And so you are going to be offering this program to teens. So tell me
Yes.
why you're excited about this.
Number one, I'm super excited to just start teaching them that there are solutions and opportunities. I was working with a girl last week and she was dealing with feeling overwhelmed. And in a 30-minute session, we were able to take her from that overwhelming feeling to like, okay, I have an action plan and it doesn't feel as heavy because I've actually taken 30 minutes to think it through, kind of analyze it, and redefine what I want from it. So to me, I think that for teens, not only is it going to be able to open up and heal whatever hurts they've had along the way, but it's really going to give them a toolkit for a lifetime and really establish an understanding of themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I often say, like, it's not just like a 3-month program and then you forget it all, right?
Right.
It's actually taking you in a completely new direction and giving you tools and skills that you can consistently use when life happens, because it will.
Yes, 100%. And then I just think for teens to then interact with that confidence instead of all of the self doubt, like, again, I haven't changed the world yet, even though that's on my heart. But I just think I see it in myself. I've changed myself and I see it trickle out into my family members.
Ooh.
And I really think that it takes one teen to say, no, we're going to do this different. And for someone to go, I actually like that better than that. So I'm also going to do that differently. And my hope is that it will trickle out.
So tell us about that. How has you doing the work or learning these skills impacted your family and your community already?
I think for my family, we've always been an emotionally reactive family. So we do, well, for me personally, deal with emotions first. And it would be an outburst of some sort. Same, I see that in my son, or have seen that in my son. And now I'm seeing us go, okay, hold up. We're going down this line. Let's do something different. Let's pull an exercise out of the book, or let's just take a breath. Let's all take a break and let's come back and talk about this. And in doing so, it's just so much healthier. Like instead of us kind of feeding off of each other's reactions, we're able to really get down to the core issue and define a way forward that works for everyone without all of the angst and stress and fighting. And then I'm watching my husband make choices. He's applying for jobs freely without fear. He's signed up to be part of a community band, which he hadn't done for years, decades even. And like, I really think that that's the trickle that made him feel like, you know what, I don't have to be fearful of that failure. I'm just going to go for it. And then seeing that in my son day in and day out, he's just a kinder, friendlier kid who just wants to live life to its fullest. It's just amazing.
So you're modeling. First, you're modeling the skills yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
then you're right. It's contagious
Mm-hmm.
because we know that anger and resentment and hostility, that's repelling. Nobody really
Yes.
wants to be around that.
Right.
So if you're modeling a healthy dialogue, communication, how do I handle stress without
Mhm.
exploding? If you're modeling that, it is. They're
Mhm.
subconsciously picking it up and going, "Oh, I want to be like that too." And you're
Yeah.
seeing the fruit of them actually noticing and then duplicating.
And in terms of like extended family, it's happening against their will. It's like, it's like they get annoyed that I'm just like overly happy and bubbly, but then they're starting to see the results of that and all the work that I've done and what's gone into it. And it's starting to pierce their hearts. And then they're going, okay, I think I need something like that. Or Jenny, what are you doing? Or tell me about this or tell me about that. So even though when I bring something up, they're like, oh no, too personal. They really are being hit in the heart with it instead of the head and going, okay, but that actually makes sense and I can relate to those feelings because we grew up in the same environment. And just kind of opening the onion layers one little petal at a time.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And so teens, they need all the help they can get,
Yeah.
right? And as a parent of teens and preteens,
Uh-huh.
we want to surround our kids with positive, healthy adults who will speak
Yes.
life into them. And oftentimes they're not going to listen to the parent. And
Right.
so it's such a cool thing to be able to offer a community and a space for teens to learn growth focused skills, to learn leadership skills, to learn skills to build their confidence,
Mm-hmm.
in a space where, their parents, they probably wouldn't take it
Yep.
from their parents. So what can parents and teens expect from your program?
I really expect them to leave with four things. So I do expect up and downs, but along the way, I expect them to understand where they came from and how they were programmed by their environment. I expect them to leave with a belief that they can choose how to move forward based on, yes, you've been programmed, but you're in this stage now where you can take that control back and reprogram yourself. I want them to leave with an evergreen toolkit of exercises that in any scenario they could sit down and do and really hash it out without the emotional roller coaster or kind of the turmoil, internal turmoil. And fourth, I want them to leave with an understanding of who they are that does not waver. And that is to me unshakable confidence. So I
Mhm.
want them to leave with those four things. What they can expect is there's going to be some up and downs as we dig into some of the hurts and face them. My counselor tells me still, Jenny, be comfortable in the uncomfortable. I'm going to say that to them. You've got to get comfortable in the uncomfortable because it's going to be a little awkward in the beginning until we get to the kind of those okay next steps and growth and development and all of those things. So it's a 12-week program where we really start breaking into the programming, identify strengths within them, really define their dreams, which a lot of people don't dream these days. They just can't see past that week, and then set them up for the future with unshakable confidence.
I love it. Yeah, it's a 12-week, like I call it, a loving kick in the right direction, right? We're
Yes,
overcoming
exactly.
self-sabotage. We are helping with healthy habits. We're getting them kind of back on track.
Mm-hmm.
And like we said, it's a 1 to 3% shift in a completely new direction. Because once you
Yeah,
have these skills and you have these exercises and you have these aha moments, um, you keep them and you can
yeah,
utilize them down the road.
yep. Well, and I think the teen realm is scary to a lot of professionals in this space because it's unpredictable and there's a lot of attitude and a lot of hormonal things going on in their minds and in their bodies that are impacting the way they think. But I really think that deep down, even every teen I've worked with, I'll say something and you can see on their face that hit me, even though they're outputting no thank you. Like even though they're doing that, they're hearing you and things are hitting them where it needs to hit them to implement change.
Yeah.
And so I'm ready to take that on.
I worked with teens quite a bit in the counseling world. And then
Mhm.
when I was a clinical psychologist, I was, 24, and they were like, give her all the teens.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I worked with quite a few teens during that phase, like during those years as well. And what I found is that step one, right, was them knowing that I was on their side,
Yeah.
that I believed in them, that I thought they were awesome, regardless of what troubles they've had. Of
Mhm.
course, if they're coming in for mental health services, somewhere in juvie, some had school issues. It wasn't just like having a bad day. There was other deeper rooted things happening. But once they felt like they knew that I liked them and believed in them and supported them, they were so open and wanting and willing to learn. And
Yeah.
so I think that once that community is established and they feel like I'm here for me because I want my life to be better, they're going to eat this stuff up. And just like we've seen with the adults.
Well, and there's an age group, right? Like, let's say 16 to 18, where we really need to prepare them to go on and take on the world and be independent and all of those things. And so to me, it really is the most pivotal time to really impact them with these tools before we say, okay, there's no boundaries. Go ahead, do your thing, you
Yeah.
know?
Go do whatever you want. And you've been told what to do for the rest of for your
Yeah.
life, but now, we haven't told you how to make a good choice and how to listen to your intuition and what happens if you want to change. Like these are all truly
Yeah.
life skills that
Yes.
they'll be able to use. Okay, so let's say somebody's listening and they have a teen or a grandchild or a niece or nephew that's like, oh my gosh, this person needs a positive community to grow in their confidence. Where can they find you and how can they get started?
So you can find me at luminarycoaching.life. That's the website. And I have some packages kind of outlined. You can learn more or you can buy right there. You can book an appointment on that website to have a kind of a 30-minute download meeting with me. I am on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube under Luminary Coaching. That's the name. And then I'm coming out with a podcast. It's just in the beginning stages. It's called Stand Tall Teens. So be looking for that, and you'll be able to find release updates on any of those channels.
Awesome. 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 We'll put the links down below as well. Go connect with Jen and share this video or any of her socials with people that you know that have a teen that would like extra support. And you know what? We all do. So who
Yeah.
wouldn't?
Yeah.
And I know you're starting the next round of 90 Day U-Turn in the next few weeks. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes. So I will put an invite out there for anyone who's interested. Feel free to reach out to me or click on one of those links and we can get your teen started. I'm going to start another session next week or the week after. So it just kind of depends on when schedules align with all of the attendees. We'll go from there.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, awesome. So yes, teens, you being called out. This is your time to get started with Jen's 90 Day U-Turn program. And if you're in the Grand Rapids area, we actually have a super fun special event for you as well. There's a handful of us Dream Life coaches that are putting together a 5-part workshop series, 2 hours a month ish. Starting in April it's like once a month for 2 hours on a Thursday night. We're doing a personal development program just for women to help us all live our dream life,
Mm-hmm.
right? We are
Yep.
going to be taking our thoughts captive. We're going to be learning about emotional regulation and goal setting and accountability. And we're doing some of these transformational exercises that Jen has done in 90 Day U-Turn and that the teens will be doing. We'll be doing them in person in Grand Rapids, available for anybody interested in coming locally. And I'll tell you my favorite part of the event, and then Jen, you can share yours too.
Okay.
My favorite part is the dream dinner, because the session 5 is where we act as if it's already been 5 years and we've accomplished all of our goals. And so the first 4 sessions are really preparing us for that. What do I really want? And do I believe that it's possible?
Mm-hmm.
And like, let's really step into that. And so on the 5th workshop, we will be doing more of a party with, cocktails and appetizers and things like that. And we're going to be talking as if we've accomplished all of our goals. And it's so much fun. And it truly
Yes.
takes you from just idea to who you be. So, Jen, what's your favorite part of the
I
workshop
think
series?
my purpose exercises, the meditation was a game changer for me. And I'll be honest, it was the Dream Life dinner that really solidified I'm in the right space. I was feeling a little uneasy about teens and it just locked and loaded it in there. And I found it really emotional and inspiring to think of where I could be in 5 years. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to work really hard to get there. But to be there, I started crying when I read my letter because I was like, holy cow, this could be real. Like, I'm actually speaking these words into existence. This could be real. And then I just had this like insane energy inside of me, and I just started bawling, and it was phenomenal. So
Powerful.
teaching them to dream,
Yeah.
it's a big
Yeah.
deal.
I'll put the link to our live workshop series down in the comments below. But if you're in the Grand Rapids area, we'd love to have you. Our first event, I believe, is April 25th, so in about a month. And you can choose to do one, or you can choose to do just a few or all five. You get a discount if you book all five, but we'd love to have you. This is the first time we're putting together an event like this. Think of it like a girls' night out, personal development style.
It will be awesome.
It will be awesome. All right. Anything else you want to add, Jen?
I guess just calling out parents. If you think your teen is struggling, or if you just kind of feel like they're lost and you don't know what to do for them, send them my way. Let's give them the opportunity to kind of dig in. It's uncomfortable to do. It's uncomfortable to force your teen to do it, but I do think it really is in their best interest.
Absolutely. Life can absolutely change and shift in 12 weeks. We see it all the stinking time. Their
Yes.
spark is lit. They're more confident. They're more motivated, and they've got direction. They know where they're going, and they know why they're going there. And that
100%.
is priceless.
Yes, completely agree.
All right. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Give her a congratulations down in the comments as well. And good luck. Excited to see what happens over the next few months. We'll be shouting out your podcast as well. And this is just the beginning. So
Awesome. Thanks for the opportunity.
absolutely. Bye, guys. See ya. Bye.